Hi everyone, and welcome back. In this session, we're going to talk about content and writing as an eSupervisor in coaching supervision. And again, I got great content from Eve Turner in her book, The Heart of Coaching Supervision. Get the book, okay? Get that book, okay? And so, what is content writing? Well, for our purposes, it's just a form of supervision feedback. But because the world is becoming more and more distant and supervision is e-supervision, it's becoming actually a great way to be more reflective and supportive and expressive in your writing because it's been growing over the years and we're more comfortable with it now. And it's been gaining benefits because we're writing good stuff, okay? And today we're going to have a few exercises that help you bring out some of your own good stuff, okay? And we want to make sure that we can reflect in that writing. This is powerful because we're getting from one side of the brain, the left side of the brain, to the right side, or the right side of the brain to the left side. Yeah, one of those two. Anyway, the biggest problem with e-writing is the digital distraction. So that one is going to be that needing to build that and develop that self-discipline to keep yourself on track. So let's move on down to hidden connections. This is what we talk about, subconscious and conscious. Writing is a great way to bring out or lessen some of those subconscious stresses that we are really not thinking about or noticing. And just by writing it, listening, you're going to hear one thing, you're going to notice one thing. Putting it on paper or writing it down becomes you're listening with really a different ear for writing. And there's another benefit that self-reflection is very powerful, because if you have to sit down and write it out for your supervisor, you're going to make you think about it a little bit more. So we have practice of supervisees writing reflections and supervisors, but they can also be in the forms of journals or media posts, blogs, things like this, which serves a double purpose of helping you to communicate to the world and share your ideas, get some feedback from not just your supervisor but others. And yes, often I'm asked the question, well, what if I don't want people to know? Don't write that part. Okay? And just like in all these forms, only write what you're comfortable writing about. Okay? Don't write anything. You can talk about a problem. You don't have to give me the details. That's okay. All right? And then I'm going to share with you a few, or actually a range of reflective approaches to help you get started today. Okay? So one of the first ones is the reflection write. And this one is a great way for you to just, develop your observations. But right towards the end of your writing, okay, so you're giving some feedback as a supervisor or even as a supervisee. You're going to write to your supervisor, well, for yourself. As I read this, I'm aware of, or what I notice in my body as I'm writing is, or an action step I'm going to take is. And this is just a reflection as you're writing or at the end of your writing. Let's look at some other exercises. So we've got just, your pen and paper. Yes, real pen and paper. Okay. I got my journal here. A journal right here that I actually still use a pen to write with. Seriously. But that, just because you don't have paper with you doesn't mean you can't write, because you can use a computer journal. Or for me, as you guys know, when I'm hiking, I use my smartphone as a journal. I just talk into the smartphone because I'm all sweaty and I don't want to get it out of the phone, but it's a great opportunity for me to get that super idea that is going to make an awesome difference to you or to my clients or to the class. And then, we have an empathy exercise here in a few minutes that I'll assign you to do this week. So let's start off with arriving. This arriving exercise is a great way for you to just say, how am I arriving? I like to do this one or some sort of this one before I get started on coaching. Because as you guys know, I try to end back-to-back coaching for 2, 3, 4 hours at a time. And so what I do is I'll get this. I'll start off just to clear my head doing something like this. And it's a great way to get me centered and grounded. And what if you don't know what to write? I don't know. Here's a few exercises to get you going, and in and out of nature. Okay. And just as we use metaphors in our coaching, as you're talking to a client, well, you can use a metaphor as you're talking to your supervisor. Yeah, I was a lion chasing my prey, going after that prospective client. Right? And then, how about in and out of nature? Well, this next exercise is, imagine you're somewhere in nature. Describe it. I'm on the beach, listening to the waves. Then, what about that place brings you alive? And your supervisor probably doesn't want to hear this. But what it does is it gets you started on describing the world and nature around you. And because it's nature, it's less removed, or it's more removed. It's easier to deal with. And so let's get into it. And what I'd like you to do is answer some of these questions. What strength do you want to develop to improve your e-writing? And what strength can you contribute? What are you already good at? What can you share? And if you are a supervisor, what can you contribute? So think about these points as you're going forward. Okay, develop the discipline, okay, and write in the moment. Okay, reflect and express writing exercises, and do them often, and especially at first to get you up and running. Then you have a supervisor, or if you are working in a company and you have a supervisor, work with that one, with that person to help you develop your skills. And then use metaphors and in and out of nature, because nature does have that way of restoring us and bringing us back to a more settled state. So what are some current challenges that would stop you from being reflective in your practice for either as a coach or as a supervisor? And what are your greatest barriers to reflective writing? Not good, not bad. This is for you. And what do you think is stopping you? And then, actually, funny story, I was working with my coach on creating videos. So similar but different. And it was been actually freeing, because now I committed to my coach that I'm going to create these videos for you guys. And so, or moving on, how would reflective writing practice help you in your CPD or continuing professional development? And as a reflective writing practice, how could you contribute more deep work as a coach or a supervisor? And some of the best supervisors I know actually will write their feedback, and then they will derive that writing into a blog post, because it's a real problem that they can help other people solve or avoid in the future. This coming week, I have an assignment for you, if you choose to accept it, and that is to do the empathy exercise in writing. We talked about empathy in class. Well, now what we want is for you to read someone's writing. Just get some writing from somebody else, not a blog, or maybe a blog, but something from someone. And then ask yourselves these questions. How's the person feeling? Okay. Why is this person feeling that way? What could I do to help him or her? This is a great exercise because it will be something that you in the future are going to need to do to support your clients, your supervisees, your supervisor. Okay. Now, and the next one we have is the empathy exercise. Okay. Where would you use it? Okay. Where could you apply this? Would it be, your supervisee, your team, okay, your family? What challenges would you have? Here's these questions. Okay. Empathy, where could you use it? How could your supervisee, team, family benefit? What challenges will you have, or could you have, with doing that? Because those challenges overcoming those challenges is going to be great benefit. And how will you overcome those challenges? And then what would be the valuable for you? So, what from this exercise, what's valuable? And then in the end, okay, what are you more curious about? You want to learn more about? Okay, so that's the end of this session. And what we talked about was e-writing as a supervisor for coaching. We talked about different exercises that you could use. Kind of the background, the benefit is that reflection and being able to describe, and being more subconscious versus conscious, left brain, right brain. And in the end, getting in there and doing it and really trying to have empathy, trying some of these exercises first of all, and then applying that empathy exercise over the next week to help you get grounded and understand more about someone else. That's the end of this session. Stay with us, and we will catch you on the next session. Bye now.